There we go. So now let's get started. Now, other news. I updated my Analog Pocket, which I'm very happy I did, because the Analog Pocket was updated a few months ago. Now, my strategy with Analog Pocket updates has been to wait a couple months after the update in case the update has any problems with it that need to be worked out. But the update, when Nintendo Switch Online actually came out with their Game Boy Advance library, I was really impressed with the. No. My settings should be... Okay, here we go. Alright, so this is I play this a little bit because that's the only way I could properly test the audio. So let's see what music we have to choose from. It doesn't play until Driver's Mega Mix. Now, some of these tracks are tracks that were not in the original version of the game, I think, but let's try Cruising Line. No.
Get ready.
Oh, this is cool music. Now, for full disclosure, I am playing with automatic transmission. The original mode was all about having a more realistic driving experience with the manual transmission. Yu Suzuki famously used Sega money to do some research for this game, which included going on a trip across Europe and renting a high-performance sports car and going on a trip across Europe to try to do research, take a lot of photos for the. He really put himself through the ringer to make sure he could do the appropriate research to make sure that this was a realistic driving experience. Now this is. I did. Oh goodness. By realistic driving experience, I mean when you crash and flip your car, you just get right back on the road and continue driving. Yeah, so we're not racing these other cars. These other cars are basically just obstacles for us. And our goal is to make it to the checkpoints. Now I'm playing on the sort of medium sort of setting. I'm playing, I think, sort of midway between easy and hard. I tried it the easiest mode, because with any game, I tend to try the easiest mode first, and explore on from there. Now, I could pause, which you cannot do in the original. With that being an arcade game, of course, I'm just sort of setting things up. I'm getting a little prickly numbness feelings from the way I was sitting, so I just want to adjust my stance a bit. Yeah, and I have to adjust my camera. I could have swore I made sure my camera was on center. Because I don't physically adjust my camera, I sort of shift where the sort of video window is within the layout, rather than shift my actual camera, so that way, if one layout needs to be adjusted, I don't ruin all my other layouts in the process. Yeah, I gotta make it to the next checkpoint. Oh, goodness. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if this is... In the lower left, you can see the stage. How, one thing that surprised me about Jeremy Parish's review of Outrun, I was clearly playing the arcade version on a modern system, and he left in the widescreen mode the option. You have the option to turn widescreen off, and in the original game, you wouldn't have had widescreen. It would have been a 4x3 monitor like I'm playing on here. And I do like 4x3 in games that offer it, because 4x3 allows you to... Oh my goodness. Yeah, 4x3 allows you to have a lot more creativity with your layout in terms of, oh, I could put in the game's box art poster, or, oh, I could make my webcam a little bigger without obscuring more of the gameplay field. And this mode lets me have space for my ticker, my poster and everything, and not obscure any of the gameplay. Which having widescreen, you either have to make the gameplay smaller, which I don't like doing, or cover up part of the gameplay with my webcam, which I also do not like doing. Yeah, and you can see those little red demarcations on the map, the tiny little map, it's almost an icon on the lower right. Those let me get a sense of which paths I've taken, whether I've chosen left or right. Now, I heard the right paths are the easier ones, so... Yeah, this is cool music. Now, what I'm understanding is that the soundtrack in this particular game actually was one of the primary inspirations behind the synthwave or vaporwave genre. Now, I've heard some people use synthwave and vaporwave interchangeably. Then I've heard people say, I forgot which is which, but either that synthwave is the art style inspired by these games, and that vaporwave is like the music style. But like I've heard synthwave and vaporwave. Oh, we ran out of time. I don't know. We made it pretty far for our first attempt. Oh, this music is pretty cool. There's T. A nice, sensible interface for entering in my initials. Magical sound shower. Oh, no. I have to use X as my start button. It also inserts coins. Yeah, it's kind of funny. This isn't a race yet. There's a starting line. So, and there's stands, so I'm not quite sure if this is supposed to be a road trip. This game can't decide if it's a road trip or a race, but I thought this would be a good game for early July. Well, heck, it's nearly mid-July already. It's a shame. Summer's going by way too fast. But I thought it would be cool to play a nice summer game and play a major game that I've heard about, I've heard the history of, and Jeremy Parish's recent video on it kind of put it back on my radar. It's like, yeah, this is a game I could play once, and if it's a nice, relaxing game, this could be a lot of these arcade games, these quick to play, easy to get into, but no big time investment, easy to turn my brain off and just play kind of games. These could be good just chatting games, just future warm-up games. And we're gonna take all take all the right routes until we at the forks of the road. We're always gonna make that right, take the right road, and we'll get to the that, I guess that's the bottom in that diagram in the lower right. I feel like I have to belch right now, so I don't want to talk too much. Alright, there it went. Alright, this little mini burp wasn't even like... Oh. I'm getting better at dodging these cars, too. Yeah, this was midway between easiest and hardest, because the easiest mode, which I traditionally will try the easiest mode first and then add challenge as we go on. But yeah, the easiest mode had no cars at all on the road, and it was kind of like, okay, this is... Even for me, this is a little too easy. Because having the other cars... I mean, actually driving on a public road like this and weaving between traffic... Oh my goodness, I made a left turn! I heard the left paths are the more challenging ones, so we'll, Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know if... Oh my goodness, those windmills. Okay, yeah, we stayed on the road. We did not flip the car. Nice. Now, I'm interested if I guess the version, the sit-down version where it was like, of the cabinet where you're in like an actual car. I wonder if there's any analog element to how hard you pressed on the car, on the pedal with your foot, if you would accelerate faster or anything, or if it was just digital on and off. But I know this is definitely a lot easier, because I've never driven a stick shift in real life. I've always driven automatic transmission automobiles in real life. So I figured driving automatic would be a more realistic reflection of my skill. Taking the... Oh man, the sky hype! That nice afternoon sky with the orange orange clouds. Yeah, this is definitely what they... This is definitely fits some of those vapor rave, perhaps so. Vaporwave aesthetics, as the kids say. Now, oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't remember seeing anyone play this far into it when I was a little kid in the early 90s watching the older kids play this. And really, I think the pizza parlors, barber shops, whatever that would have this game, they would really keep this game as... I think they would order this game if Hang On wasn't available. The arcades, I mean, well, not the arcades. The arcades would have all kinds of games, but the barbershops, pizza parlors, the kind of place that would only have 1 or 2 cabinets, they'd want Street Fighter 2, Mortal Kombat, and a racing game. And the racing games they'd go for would typically be Hang On, which I think had, I don't know, I guess the motorcycle, with the motorcycle theming, I guess maybe had a bit more obvious appeal. And the fact that the automobile-shaped, from what I remember, the automobile-shaped cabinet option for Outrun took up a lot more physical space in the establishment than the ride-on motorcycle type controller or cabinet setup for Hang On. So I think that's why it was more popular with the with business owners. Whereas the car cabinet for this, I think it took up more space from what I remember. Now I never looked into that, looked at what the actual car and motorbike shaped cabinets were. But yeah, I'm surprised by... This is one of those games like Versus Pinball in the sense where there's a significant skill threshold. You have to be good at the game. You need talent. It's not just turn your brain off and play. Yet I'm able to play... Oh my goodness. As I go and prove myself wrong. It's a game where there is a lot of skill involved, but you can play as you speak. With 56 seconds left until I get to the next stage. Now there's nothing quite indicating how close the next stage or the next checkpoint is. And when I say stage, I mean stages of the race. In the sense of, not like stages in like a video game. In fact, I probably would be surprised if the idea of stages in terms of video games sort of were borrowed from the concept of stages in rally races. Wow. I've lost... Oh, I beat the game. I beat the run.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I was running. I'm like, am I playing or not? I'm not quite sure what's going on. So what are the other cars on the road going to do at this checkpoint? Are they just stopping and turning around? Aww. The woman, the girl, I don't think who was even behind the wheel got the trophy, not the guy. And the guy was just kind of like, meh. Oh, well, I definitely got the, yes. You know, I've mentioned it a couple of times on stream. I've been learning to speak and read a new language. You've unlocked steering wheel in the tune-up menu. This will let you take corners more easily. Okay. Submitting freestyle ranking. Okay, I guess they're online leaderboards and stuff. That's cool. Let me just check my, your score is recorded in the rankings. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm very interested to see... Yeah, if I do appreciate that they do make you, play through the game normal, in a bit more of a traditional way at least once, but, so X... Okay, so... Display effect... And transmission, hold automatic controls 1... Speedometer... So where are the... So if I go back to the main menu, where can I... No, I don't want to... Oh, cool, I can replay my... I want to... We have to read... Oh, they just take you to a web page. They don't have it within the game itself. That's lame. So how do I... Okay, alright, that's only on the title screen. So... Flash wave... Radiation nostalgic version. Let's try this. Oh.
Get ready.
Oh, this is cool. So let's see how steering wheel affects the steering. I'm not touching the D-pad at all. Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's see if there's any improvement to how the car handles. Alright. Now, this is... I doubt this is 287 kilometers per hour. And when I was messing with the options off stream, setting up for this, or just a few days ago now, I don't think there's any difference. I didn't notice any difference between when I switched from miles per hour to kilometers per hour. Because when I was on miles per hour, I was like, there's no way I'm going almost 300 miles per hour in this car. And so I switched over to kilometers per hour, and it seems like the miles per hour in relation to the passing scenery is not being very well established, I guess. It's not very to scale or realistic. I guess it's a little less nonsensical when it's in terms of kilometers per hour. But miles per hour, it's like, no way that I'm actually traveling hundreds of miles per hour right now. Extend play. Yeah, when I was a little kid, whenever I played one of these racing games, I'd maybe get to the first checkpoint to extend the play, and that's it. Yeah, it's not at all about the beating the other cars. The other cars are just there as obstacles. Oh, and I just realized the way the score is just going up, just climbing up radically every inch that I move, which is kind of neat. Now, I know there are multipliers for your time and everything like that. I only have a minute to reach the next checkpoint. I hope I do not get a game over here. It's not like I'm out a quarter. Not like I'm out a early 90s. Oh my. Oh, okay. Tried to avoid the car, ended up hitting the wall instead. Is the car a different color? I was not paying attention to what color the car was last time. I know the decorations, like the emblem on the back, is the same. I swear it was not this turquoise color last time. I mean, the car on the poster is red. I would have just expected the car to always be red. I'm sure the first time around it was red. Maybe depending on my... Oh, let's play dangerously. Let's take a right turn. I mean, a left turn. I think the left routes are more challenging in terms of their topography and curvature. Now, one thing that's I've noticed is that when the car climbs up hills, it is not as though the route is... the car doesn't start to go slower. It's not like I have to add more gas or acceleration. And I don't think, if I was playing manual, I wouldn't think you'd be expected to shift any differently or anything like that. But so the topography in terms of going up or downhill is really just in terms for visuals only. And that's one of those things that I really feel was missing in the original Super Mario Kart. I was one of those people, like, I never heard of Mario Kart, because I was a Sega kid growing up. I never heard of the Mario Kart series until Mario Kart 64. And I was like, oh, I couldn't wait to look at the manual to see what the lore was for Mario Kart 64. I was like, what is the storyline? Why is Mario racing go-karts with Bowser and everyone? I guess I was expecting something a little more like Diddy Kong Racing, where there's actually is a bit more of a story mode and lore as to why these characters, who are not associated with racing or in vehicles, racing. Especially when Mario is racing with enemy characters like Wario and Bowser. But at the time, I guess Wario was more of an enemy character. Now he's just kind of a sort of a slightly brutish rival to Mario. But at the time of Mario Kart 64, he really was a villainous character. And is often depicted as being significantly larger than Mario as well. The only games I can think of where Wario is really a serious enemy, a serious villain, and not just sort of a rival to Mario. Someone he goes karting with, someone he goes to parties with, maybe plays some tennis once in a while, would be, Mario Land 2, 6 golden coins for the Game Boy, which is his debut appearance, where he basically sort of fills in for Bowser as an antagonist. And then Wario's Woods for NES, where Toad is the protagonist and Wario's the villain. And then there was Mario and Wario, a Game Freak game released in Japan only for the Super Famicom that used the Super Famicom's mouse. And Wario put an evil bucket over Mario's head that he could only remove by getting to the end of these stages. So Mario can't see where he's going, and you play as a fairy that's embodied by the mouse pointer of the Super Nintendo. It's the same mouse from Mario Paint, and you'd guide Mario around using this fairy character that you control with the mouse. Oh my goodness! And doing that, you could guide Mario through different obstacles. It was a bit of an action puzzle game to an extent. But a bit like Lemmings, where instead of like guiding many characters to a goal, you were only guiding Mario. So I never saw much gameplay of the game. I do know that Game Freak developed the game, and they're actually referenced like in the Copycat's house in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. In the Copycat's house, if you play like, there are lots of TVs, and if you look at them and say, "Oh, it's a Super NES," you can see the graphics of the Super NES on screen. And they'll say, "Oh, it's a game with Mario with a bucket on his head," and that's a reference to Mario and Wario. But I'm especially pre-internet. Yeah, being in the pre-internet Western world, you couldn't really find out too much about Western-only releases, and Nintendo would never mention them in Nintendo Power or anything like that. So I just thought it was just sort of a made-up, sort of phony game that they came up with. But yeah, I said Mario with a bucket on its head, on its head, like he's an animal or some inanimate object. Oh my goodness, I have 22 seconds to get to the next checkpoint. Yeah, the parts where you can't see the road ahead are really tricky. So fortunately they did include those arrows. Oh! We got to the end of the race! We beat the game with 11 seconds to spare.
Congratulations.
Let's see how we did this time. I get the... I don't know if I do good. If I do good enough. So... we went to... Oh, we went to D again. You know, next time we're gonna take all right turns. Because last time... Yeah, my last complete playthrough... Oh, this is... I did better than the last time, too. Okay. No. No, we gotta go all the way to delete. S, T, H. Alright, now I was getting into this when we beat the last game, but like I said, I've been learning to read and write in a new language lately. Oh, okay. Alright, I see. Turning the wheel option turns the car to baby blue. I don't know, the red looks cool. I don't know. And I guess we'll unlock other options as we go along. No? Splash Wave, Radiation. Step on it, Arcade Edition. Let's try this one.
Get ready.
Yeah, I gotta wonder... Unless you were in like a pizza parlor where there weren't a bunch of other arcade machines going off at the same time, I can imagine this was a pretty loud environment, an actual multi-game video arcade, where you really wouldn't get to hear the music much. Whereas a pizza parlor, there might not be, maybe a radio going on in the background listening to some music. I mean, a radio like that the pizza parlor owned. It was behind the counter or something, not something that would just, not the radio within the game. Yeah, all this music is pretty cool. All this music, no, it's not pretty cool, it's just cool. But remember, all right turns this time, and take that new route. Alright. Oh my goodness. Crashed the sign for the ice cream parlor. I don't know, you see all these surfing places, you don't have to see a place that serves ices or ice cream. Now I wonder, I don't know if the songs change the terrain or the environment or the aesthetics of it all, or the time of day of the different stages, or what.
Checkpoint.
But I definitely feel like the traffic is a good mix of, you know, good straightaways to calm you down, and then good challenge points to dodge the other cars. Yeah, the cars, the other motorbikes and Excitebike are kind of like that, where you're not really racing the other cars, they're just kind of, or the other bikes are just kind of obstacles. Alright. Yeah, I did not realize that when I selected that sort of assist wheel or whatever. Yeah, I don't feel like this is just, it's not like the the auto wheel thing in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It might be in regular Mario Kart 8 too, where it kind of actually actively steers the car for you. And I think this is more the kind of thing where it just handles differently in a way that's a little bit a little more tighter, maybe a little less realistic, so to speak, but a lot more player friendly than the arcade version would have been. And of course, the arcade version has no motivation to be gentle with you. It wants to entice you to keep playing, to hear the funky music and have the fun experience of driving, but also keep grabbing your quarters and giving you a hard time getting those checkpoints so you can continue playing. Well, the effects of the trees, the clouds. I mean, it looks like we have some very low-hanging fog here, rather than a cloudy sky. But the effect is very, very. I know. I imagine certain people with certain kinds of motion sickness, this could be very sickening to look at. But for me, I'm enjoying myself tremendously. And I keep getting at this, and I keep drifting off the point. But yeah, I've been learning a new language, to speak and read a new language lately. And it's a language some of you may have heard of. I'm not going to mention what it is. But what I'm going to do, and there is a community for it on Twitch. It's not a big one, but I don't know many streamers actively using it. So I think that if I did stream in this language, I'd have a bit of a community people could wanted to hear people speak this language, or come and chat in this language in addition to English, which is my primary and really only language. But this language does not have an H sound in its written, in its spoken. It has no H sound in any of its words, and there's no H in its alphabet, and there's no H sounds in its written language. This language has its own unique writing system, but it also it's very commonly written using the 26 characters of the English alphabet as well. But I think that it's tricky finding, trying to use the language and sounds that, the sounds, the consonant and vowel sounds that the language does use, to try to figure out how to say H, because there's no H sound. But they are, like, there's no R sound either. But you could use the W sound to substitute you could use, like, the W sound to substitute for an R when you're using names for that. There are no names in the language. All the words then are unique to that language. But as far as names, you just use your own name, sort of put in that. But it's tricky for that H sound because there's no letter. There's no. It's one of those sound letters that in this language system, its writing system, its sound system, it's not really anything. Oh, please. Checkpoint should be coming soon. Checkpoint should be coming soon. Come on. 13, 12, 11, 10. Yeah, we got it. Nice. Okay, actually, we're on the cusp of beating the game. Oh, this is really exciting. Yeah, but I have to sit down, look at the alphabet, look at the writing and the consonant and vowel system, and try to really figure out, okay, how am I going to say H in this language? Okay, 50 seconds left. Okay, we could do this. We haven't failed. Only the first time on our first attempt we failed to complete the circuit. Well, it's not really a circuit. It's a point A to point B race. Oh my goodness, overtaking is so tricky. That was a really cruel arrangement of cars. I don't think that was down to lack of skill. I don't think anyone could have got through there unless they're a real expert at this game. Oh, we're so close. Please, it would be so cruel. Come on, to lose now. So close to the end. We got it. With less than 10 seconds to spare, we did it.
Congratulations.
Alright. Just checking to make sure I'm not dropping any frames. Yeah, we're doing good. I need to stop worrying, mate. Wow, the guy actually got the trophy this time. So that's course E. Alright. Lost a few seconds there because I did put down the gamepad. S, T, H. Yeah, it is so tricky trying to figure out a certain high score. You unlocked bumpers in the tune-up menu. This reduces shock when gliding with cars or obstacles. So I like how there are these little... Oh! Okay. Oh, I like this. Check this out. Depending on which enhancements I have on, so it's nothing, I get red. With the wheel on, I get this sort of baby blue. With the bumpers on, I get green, which is really cool. That's really cool. I like green was that bright emerald green color. That was my favorite color as a little kid. And with both on, you get this sort of brownie kind of color. Step on Beat Arcade Edition. Let's try this one. This is the same one as last time, I think. Now, I do hope people using these enhancements like I am are people who, like for the leaderboards, I hope it denotates. I hope there's separate leaderboards depending on which enhancements are on. Now, I'm sure we'll be finding out as we go along what sort of enhancements the bumper option gives us. You know, I'll get more and more used to these, and then I'll turn all the features off and see how it's like driving without them. Then I'll get a real feel. Because I don't feel a significant change in performance in terms of the steering when I turn on the wheel. Like, I wasn't even sure if I had turned it on or not. Oh yeah, some of this music reminds me so much of Sonic the Hedgehog. I'll go right first, and then make the rest of my right... left. I'm gonna go one right and then one left and see where that gets me. Yeah, you can't have more than 99 seconds for a stage of the race. Or the, I don't know, the excursion. Oh yeah, if you're prone to motion sickness, this game can really, I can see how this game could very easily mess with you. Also, theoretically, the way that the scrolling of these arches are, I can see this being an issue for people with epilepsy as well, potentially. Yeah, okay. Scoot bop. No, okay. Hey, we didn't spin out entirely. I just thought of plumbers don't wear ties. I wonder if plumbers don't wear ties, I know there's stuff in that game, at least in the original version, that could... Well, there's definitely politically incorrect stuff, but that's whatever. But there's stuff, like, in terms of hard PG-13 content, borderline R content, that could potentially be a problem to stream on Twitch. I wonder if there's, like, a stream-safe version of that game that I could play. Because that game is available digitally on Nintendo Switch. And it's a fun game. I mean, it's a goofy game. I saw the Angry Video Game Nerd episode on it years ago. I saw Kyle TX500 play it, and that one he was like certain things he had to like try to cover up. He wasn't sure whether or not he was even able to have that on Twitch. So but he was playing it on an actual CDO or 3DO or whatever. I wonder if the Nintendo Switch version. And because I know a lot of sometimes certain older games and even certain modern games will have like a stream safe option in them to play the game without any, you know, controversial or sexual material being visible. And if that were the case, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties could probably be like the raunchiest game I would ever play on stream. You know, I'm not gonna be playing Peach Ball or any of those kind of games. There are a few dating sims I'd play, but they're all like PG-13, R, nothing graphic, and there's really more of an emphasis, I'd say, on the storytelling than any sort of actual, like, relationship simulation or implied adults-only content. Oh, this is... yeah, it's cool going through these different sections, seeing all this stuff, but... Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we have a lot more tolerance for us flipping over, and we've hit other cars with this bumper feature on. We made it. Nice. Right. Oh. Right past this truck. I travel interstate a lot, and the last time I was driving, I was out in the country, right? And I swear, these two 18-wheelers, they must have been on the radio with each other, coordinating to mess with me, and blocking me in weird ways and just messing with me. And I was like, are they trying to run me off the road? What are they doing? So eventually I just took an exit to a well-populated rest stop, and those two trucks kept going. But it made me consider what would it, for situations like that, if I could, oh my goodness, I've never seen this desert stuff before. And the woman's fussing at me, of course. Where did you learn to drive? Or is that where you learn to fly from Cybermore? I think this is purely a cosmetic, that sand. Yeah, I don't think it's not actually interfering with my performance or my traction. I've never had problems with traction driving in sand. I've never driven in the desert or on any beaches. I've driven on beachside roads, but I've never driven on one where there was a bunch of sand just on the road to mess with my traction. Now, what would happen is in the wintertime, the salt trucks would drop salt as well as sand to increase traction. But when you're riding on a bicycle, and that sand from the wintertime is on the road, and you turn those corners, I slid out bad on one of those once. Got a nice...
Congratulations!
How did we go from the beach to the Middle East somewhere, apparently? Or Northern Africa? Oh, he got a lamp! You could argue if that's politically correct. I thought it's kind of cute, but... 1, 2, 3... There are only a couple of end points that we haven't seen yet. Yeah. So we gotta go. You unlocked engine into me. It increases your top speed. I don't even care about the leaderboards, but... Oh, wow. With nothing else, you get orange car. With engine and bump, you get silver. With all three, you get yellow. Yeah, I wish it would let you hear a preview of what the music was like. Step on Beat and Radiation. We've heard these two. Midnight Highway. Playback. Driver's Megamix. Let's try Driver's Megamix Volume 1. Let's see what that's like. I'm guessing this is going to go through several songs. It might change per phase randomly or something. I'm also getting more and more confident taking those more challenging left routes. I don't think I've heard this track yet. Alright. And this is a beachside route, but there's no sand on the road itself. Now, I have driven by routes that are about this far from the actual beach. And all I could think is, man, this must be scary when it's storming, because I was on an island, on a coastal island at the time I was making when I was driving down this highway. And I was like, I'd hate to be by here during a hurricane or something like that. Alright. Alright. So we got our left road, more challenging road.
Checkpoint.
We got our first checkpoint. Yeah, I'm guessing each leg of this is going to have its own unique theming. And you can basically just mix and match by driving whether you want to go left or right to sort of customize your experience. Alright. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I definitely think I would have flipped the car if I didn't have all those enhancements on. Now, I guess I could have put on easy mode and casual in my tags. I just chose not to. Alright. Goodness. Yeah, we'll make another... Oh, we'll take the left path again. You gotta get used to actively braking. So this is a desert path, but it's different from the one we were on. Okay, no, maybe it's the same one. I don't know. Yeah, this feels wider, and like there are not as many obstacles, but there are more curves. I don't know. Yeah, the sand really does make me psychologically want to think that my car is slipping or has less traction, but I know that's not the case. Okay. Oh, this is a cool... This is definitely a new section. We haven't taken this section before. We're going to make the right turn on the next section, and I think with that we'll have seen every final section. Danke. I think that's thanks in German or Danish. Forgot which. But I don't speak German or Danish, so I could be wrong. It could not have anything to do with either of those languages. Maybe I don't need to be driving this fast. I might end up losing at this rate. Okay, I saw the thing for the fork. Not too much further. We'll hit that checkpoint.
Checkpoint.
Alright. Now, I don't know if it's because I had so much lower time in general, but I don't know if that final checkpoint gives you less of a time bonus than the other checkpoints do that are earlier in the course. Alright. Now, this looks like sort of like an American... That other desert looked like it was maybe in the Middle East or Northern Africa. This looks quite a bit more like we're in, like, you know, Western United States sort of desert. Closing in on half a minute left. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Stop fussing at me. I'll get back on the road. Okay. Okay, we cleared the game. I think this is the same... No, I swear that was new. I swear that was new. That we hadn't seen... Yeah, we haven't seen this Wait, are we in, like, caveman days? Everyone's wearing loincloths. G... You know, wait, why did D... Why G... My name's not... Okay. S... T... If only there were 4 letters, I could put in STSH. You unlock tires. With these, you won't lose speed when you run off the road. Let's see. Oh, we got purple. Used by itself. Oh, it turns black. I like all of the enhancements except I don't need to go faster, I don't think. Oh, I keep pressing the start button on the gamepad instead of the X button, which is to start the game, also to insert the coins. Drivers Megamix Volume 1. Midnight Highway Playback. Let's see what this... Oh, darn it. There I go again.
Ready?
Alright. There we go. Oh, this is... All the music in this game is great. This is all music I would casually listen to. Now, this is what I put on my, like, Saturday night... Well, not chill out music, necessarily, because chill out is a specific genre of music, but, hey, it's Saturday night. I've got some, Japanese food ordered up on Postmates that's on the way to the house. All my work's done for the day, all my appointments, all my Zoom calls and stuff are done for the day. And I just sit down, chill out, and, you know, hang out online, browse the web. Yeah, this is what I would do. This is what I would... You know, one music I used to love to listen to, I don't think it exists anymore. I think they voluntarily took it down and because they were concerned about getting action from Nintendo, but I remember using good old Winamp to access an online radio station, which I'm not sure if those are much of a thing anymore. It was an online radio station called WTMK, which was run by the Mushroom Kingdom, which was the biggest Mario fan site. Now we have, like, the Super Mario Wiki on Fandom, formerly Wikia. Yeah, the Super Mario Wiki on Fandom for this, but it was really just I think it still exists. It was just a local, you know, small ownership website by a Mario fan site with a bunch of history, a bunch of obscure games. It was the first time we really, the TMK, the Mushroom Kingdom, was the first website that really extensively broke down the process of how Yume Kojo Doki Doki Panic was translated, or well, not just translated, but just was converted into Super Mario Bros. 2, the Western version, and how there's this Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, as we knew it from Super Mario All-Stars and Super Nintendo, was actually Japan's Super Mario Bros. 2, but they had to give it a different name since that name was already taken by the conversion of Doki Doki Panic. It was around 2001, I think, when I first learned about that, and they sort of broke the story on it. It was a big deal when they were able to break that down, because I remember at the time that TMK did their, I guess, expose, now I'll get to some big scandal, but their article on the conversion of Doki Doki Panic into Western Super Mario Bros. 2, there was still a lot of fan sites if you browse, you know, the Nintendo and classic gaming web at the time, and even as early as like 2000, 2001, Super Nintendo and NES were considered classic retro vintage games, even that early on. But there were a lot of those sites that would explain Super Mario Bros. Lost Levels as, oh, they were just unreleased levels of Super Mario Bros., not realizing that it was, in fact, a full-featured retail release unto itself, and in Japan it was their sequel to Super Mario Bros. And that's when we started seeing a lot of backlash against the Western Super Mario Bros. 2. Oh, it's not a legit Mario game. It's so weird. Why did they do this? Oh, and the one thing I hear a lot, not so much anymore, but for a while I would hear people saying, "Oh, Nintendo of Japan, or rather Nintendo Corporation Limited, (NCL).
Checkpoint.
Oh, Nintendo in Japan thinks that Americans suck at video games, and that so they like insulted us by giving us this trash, this imposter Mario game. And if you really look into it, it was not Nintendo out of Japan, the parent company, that made the decision. It was Nintendo of America that decided, okay, it's too similar to Super Mario, the first Super Mario Brothers. It's too difficult, and frustration, players being frustrated with their gameplay experience with extreme difficulty and lack of quality control in some cases was part of what caused the home game console market to crash in North America. So they're like, hey, I don't think this game is a good match for our market needs in the West. Is there something else you could send us? And they're like, well, we have this other game by most of the same developers as Super Mario Brothers. The graphics are a lot more detailed. It has some new mechanics. It has new music. You know, we could maybe convert this into a Super Mario game, and at least it is America's Super Mario Brothers 2, and that's what they did. And I'm glad they did, because Doki Doki Panic is a great game. The conversion from Super Mario Brothers, it's a very good game, but the conversion to Super Mario Brothers 2 just fine-tuned so many elements of it. It made the main musical theme a lot longer, less repetitive. It fixed the horrible strobing effect on the waterfalls, which is genuinely at hazard of triggering photosensitive medical events in people who are vulnerable to those kind of things. Yeah, we made it. Yeah, I really like this off-road tune-up. There we go. And I like how they make the cars different colors, so no one could make a video pretending to be playing without these enhancements on. You know, it holds the players accountable. No one can try to fake their speed, their run. Oh wow, actually we're on the last leg of the race, I just realized already. Okay. And oh my goodness. We almost, okay, we'll get past this truck. We have less than 30 seconds. I think we can make it. We haven't failed to complete a circuit since the very first time. Oh, we did it. But then again, we have been getting more and more enhancements, so you could argue to what extent that's making me better at the game, or making the game easier.
Congratulations.
This is the first time we've taken all of the most difficult paths. Oh, yeah! Yeah, this is the hardest. We took the hardest path, so I guess we're getting the most attention. Oh my goodness, I just realized what's going on here. Oh, you. Men are so easily amused in a lot of media, especially in the 80s. S-T. So we got bottom, got second from bottom, got third from bottom, got the middle. Yeah, we've now finished in every position possible. Alright. Congratulations, you finished every course and unlocked arcade mode. To play a faithful recreation of the original game, select arcade from start menu. That's interesting. Oh yeah. Okay. So how about, I'm gonna get up and stretch. I'm gonna change categories. We've been playing in retro. Let's change things over to... Where is... We're going... No, we need to... Yeah. Let's change the actual Outrun category. Outrun. There we go. And so I'll take a break. I'll be back in, let's give it 10 minutes. And when we come back, yeah, when we come back, we'll play some more Outrun. There we go. kind of had a weird brain fart moment. Forgot. So I will be back in a few minutes. So if you want to get up and take a leak, grab some popcorn or whatever, I will see you soon. But for those who won't be joining me for the other end, thank you for sticking with me this far. Excuse me. Alright, hey everybody. Okay. Let's carry on. Let's go back to Outrun. Yep. So we unlocked what it called arcade mode, which is, I mean, I know I wasn't playing original mode. I was playing with different. Calacaboy, hey there. And Calacaboy's waiting in line to get into the Disney exhibit. Yeah, from what I heard, I think I heard a little about this exhibit, and I think it's some of the last time a lot of these different pieces of artifacts and memorabilia are going to be displayed in the same place, because it's going to be auctioned off to various owners. Now, the hope is that anyone who's going to pay big bucks for this stuff is going to also want to show off their collection a bit, which sometimes does mean showing it off. Like the person who bought that genuinely unique, genuinely one of a kind PlayStation, like Nintendo PlayStation prototype. The person who bought that at auction has said that they will periodically exhibit it in the public and allow at different game conventions and loan it out to museums sometimes, so allow people to see it, which is what you'd like. You'd like someone who owns it, because there's some people who will buy something like that and then never let anyone see it and try to hide it to sort of increase the mystique or value of it. But then there are people who will like, yeah, this is a rare, one-of-a-kind collectible, part of history, whether it's entertainment history or maybe even more significant historical or world events type stuff. But the cool thing is when they'll be like, yeah, I own it. It's in my property, in my vault or whatever, or on display, in my living room. But I will occasionally bring it to an exhibition or loan it out to a museum for a season or two and allow the public to enjoy it and appreciate it as well and be in its presence. Now, there was weird stuff going on with one of those fractional collectibles companies. Like, for instance, where, a sealed copy of Super Mario Bros. 3, that's worth a ton of money, right? Or supposedly. So, hey, here's what we're going to let you do. Our company has a copy of Super Mario Bros. 3. We're going to let you buy shares of that game, which is in a vault on our property, and you can sell your share later if the value of the game goes up, and it's basically like stonks, but for copies of a game, where you own a fraction of a Legend of Zelda cartridge. It's ridiculous. I mean, what are you going to do? Put the certificate saying that you own it on your wall or something next to all your games you actually do genuinely own? And when the company, like the actual shareholders in that copy of a game or whatever other collectible they own a fraction of, have the right to vote on whether or not the company will sell it, and then if they sell it, all the people holding shares will get a cut of the sales. But I know one of these companies actually said, okay, the owners will be able to look at their copy of the game at a certain game exhibition or something like that. Yeah. Oh, Clockboy was saying they try to take pictures to share later. Okay, cool. Just try not to get kicked out, because I know sometimes museums and exhibitions are really cutthroat about unapproved photography, because they don't want people to take pictures and post them online. Then everyone just looks at the pictures that are online instead of paying for tickets to get in. But hopefully, I do appreciate you dropping in while you have the downtime. But I do hope that you have a short line and will be able to get into the exhibit and enjoy it soon. Yeah, I'll be streaming for another about a half hour or so. This is the first time I'm playing this game. It's a lot of fun. It could potentially be a future warm-up game, something where there's skill, like versus pinball, where there's skill involved and talent involved, but at the same time, you could also sort of turn your brain off and just run your mouth while you play. This is a game, Clackaboy, if you weren't able to listen to earlier on, this is a game that would be in some pizza parlors and barber shops when I was a little kid. And I've seen like a lot of the pizza parlors, barber shops are my main example. That's the main place I remember seeing them. The places that weren't actual video arcades that always want to have one fighting game and one racing game. And the fighting game would either be Street Fighter 2 or Mortal Kombat 1 or 2. And then the racing game, I think the preferred racing game would be Hang On, another Sega racing game. I think it's slightly older than this. And the alternative, I guess if their supplier didn't have Hang On handy, they would get this game. I kind of remember the side of the cabinet being sort of enamored by the sights, the sort of mesmerizing way the graphics scale from the background into the foreground. But what I really have more memories of the music of Hang On, and the sort of motorbike cabinet where you could sit on the motorcycle and it would actually like sort of shift as I remember, or maybe just sit on it and it didn't really move. I think I do think that Hang On did have a version that actually moved, but the version that I saw, you just sat on it and the motorbike part didn't really move. Alright. Yeah, we unlock what they call classic mode. We're gonna play another mode of this and see what the so-called classic mode is like. As I make decisions on how to spend my time, because I did go on a bit of a vacation from streaming, because I did do a lot of breaks last month in June, because I was able to pair business with pleasure a bit and take some jobs down south so I could visit my dad, and then up north so I could visit my mom. And then right after that, they both came into town to visit me, sort of smack dab in the middle of those two extremes, to hang out with me. So I spent the last week hanging out with them. That's why I cut the last Saturday stream and the Wednesday stream. I've decided I want to put more focus on my recreational writing life and preparation for getting books out, whether that's an illustrated children's book, or maybe a collection of some of my poetry that revolves around certain themes or settings. And what I ended up deciding was I'm going to, for a while, because I remember in 2020, 2021, I mostly streamed for the first half of 2021, and in 2020, most of 2020, I basically just streamed on Saturday. And I'm like, I think that could be something that will work for me for a while to come. And maybe at some point I'll get into more Wednesday streams. And so every maybe 3 or 4 streams, I'll do my writing stream on Saturday instead of on a weekday. And with the schedules I keep in terms of how I block out my personal time and my professional life, weekends I really try to keep my business stuff to an absolute minimum. So that would give me more time to have potentially longer writing streams. I know the series of writing streams I did writing that poem was absolutely fantastic. Guy gives him a lamp instead of a trophy. Here's the route I took. Wow, I took a perfect zigzag. Took the left turn and the right turn and the left turn, right turn. Wow, I have my best record yet. And I don't know why, but sometimes the means of typing in these your initials for the high score things in arcade games are just really complicated and weird, and you accidentally put in the wrong letter, or you're not sure what's going on exactly. But no, here we do. We are going to. There we go. Back to the start menu. Oh, okay, that's what that does. It's not what I meant to do. How about... Is it X mode? Gas pedal, brake, shift. Display mode. Oh, we can just play the music. Magical sound shower. Okay. Manual, game reset. So if I hit X, old, these are changes that require new. A, B, C, D, E. Turn to start menu. Ooh. This is not good. Why is the D-pad moving on its own? Now, here's what I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna have to. I will detach. Actually, I'm going to shut down the. I'm gonna completely put the console to sleep. Now I'm gonna turn it on, making sure that I'm not pressing down on the control stick or anything. Because I would cry, because this Nintendo Switch Pro controller has been I've had this since 2017, late 2017. It's been a fantastic gamepad for me. And it would be such a shame if it's dying, because I don't think Nintendo makes these anymore. Yeah, I heard that Nintendo stopped producing these, believe it or not, so... No, actually? No. I'm gonna go start. Alright, so I think what happened was I might have been pressing the analog stick as the controller was pairing, because I know that will set the altered stick position as the standard position. Okay, so let's... Alright, there we go. Let's play this one. Oh, no, no. I keep pressing... Pressing start brings up the emulator menu, whereas pressing I'm pressing X, inserts coins and starts the game. Which is a great way to pause the game, because the original game wouldn't have had a pause feature. Yeah, I think the future for this game, this is definitely going to be this is something that will work as a good warm-up game in the future. Something I can play for a few minutes, turn and chat with my viewers, and then get on to the actual main game of the day. And I gotta say, it's at least more visually stimulating than Versus Pinball, because I know that game's kind of a hard sell graphically. It's not much to look at. And I could make a version of this layout. Well, I mean, this is a layout I made for playing Versus Pinball, but here you can see that I'm playing the game, but you can very clearly see that it's not the main feature. The main feature is me talking, and it's the warm-up to actually playing the main featured game, and then which happens to be Outrun. But when I'm playing Versus Pinball, I was playing Versus Pinball this layout. It's only like the second or third stream I've done using that layout, and I think it's a good. Yeah, the right turns on the branching paths go down slightly easier roads. The left turns go on slightly harder ones. I don't think you can get more than 95 seconds or so. I've never seen it go above 95. No, I don't know what this arcade mode I was talking about when I when I completed all the paths. I don't know what it's really talking about. Because as far as I understand, I'm already playing sort of I'm playing in the aspect ratio of the original cabinet, but I have a lot of, even before I started unlocking all these what they call tune-up features, there were a lot of options I had that weren't available in the original, such as driving in manual instead of, driving in automatic instead of manual. Now, I'm sure for the purists, and I understandably so, especially since those purists are likely to also be not only fans of this game, but of motorsports in general, the driving in automatic probably ruins some of the fun, but for me, I never driven manual in real life. And I guess it would be the case that playing this in automatic, it makes it really feasible for me to do so. Because I want to enjoy this game, but I'd also like to interact with chat more. And frankly, I like playing games on their easier mode. Now, the easiest mode this game has to offer, this version, you can turn off all the other cars. And when I was doing my testing for the audio to see how loud the music and the engine sounds would be and balance my audio accordingly, it didn't quite work out. I'm like, okay, this is good for testing. But when I'm actually playing the game for real, I'm definitely going to want to have it about halfway between normal and hard. Now, after we complete this race, perhaps we'll bump up to the next difficulty, have slightly, maybe more cars on screen at once. Because this has already provided quite the challenge. There we go. Now, use this even game. Okay, I was about to say, I thought there was a little voice. You know, I somehow mixed up that you'd hear that the checkpoint was the branching path. I'm like, I thought there was a little synthesized voice that say checkpoint. Because all racing games, like from this point on, like so many racing games I've played that have a checkpoint like this for extended playtime would always actually have a voice say checkpoint. They're gonna expect you to look up and read on screen. Alright. Now, if I could just... We're almost to the last phase. I wonder if I should go right or left. You know what? Yeah, well, I was so far to the right already that I didn't have much of a choice. So I guess we're taking the right path all the way in. And next time we'll take the right path, but we'll add some more cars onto the road. See how we do with that. See if we can even finish the race. And as we get better and better, perhaps I'll turn off some of these. I do like that they make you play through the original mode once and complete the game. Well, not the original mode, but you have to complete the game once without any of these tune-up enhancements that were not in the original game before they let you start having the option to toggle those on or off. And then each path ending, I guess, you complete, each course, I think they called it, will unlock a different tune-up option. And it's nice that you can toggle them on and off from the menu. I thought that would be... I thought that would be something that you'd have to go into the menu options for the entire game to actually mess with. You know, you gradually just maybe turn off some of the options, make there be a few more cars on the road, gradually make it more and more difficult until we're actually really great at the game. I mean, I could dream someday, right?
Congratulations.
Like how the lady who gave her the trophy kissed him, and then the girlfriend, I guess, is pissed at him. Wow. Okay. S T H. Wow, we've rolled the high scoreboard. You've been disconnected from the ranking server. Oh dear. Have I been disconnected from the stream? No, my stream's running fine. Yeah, we don't need to connect there now. No. Score recording was cancelled. Yeah, I'm not playing this competitively or anything, but let's check out. Let's go into the options here. No, we have to go hit X. And we can easy. And let's reset the game. There we go. So we're going to have more cars on the road now. There we go. Close my eyes, just randomly select our soundtrack. Alright. Alright, first time with the enhanced difficulty. Still got most of our tune-ups on except for the speed boost. Oil 74. Or oil 75. I swear I have not heard this track before. Am I unlocking new tracks? I think it would have pointed that out to me. And if we were unlocking... I think there are tracks in there that were not in the actual arcade edition of this game to begin with. And sometimes it already felt like there were a lot of cars on the road. And this is the first leg of the first race, so this is going to be the one that's going to for sure have the fewest cars. But I will be... we're going to take the right path, the all right options at the forks in the road, which will be the easiest paths we could take. There's our road sign. Prepared to... Yep, we'll pass that blue car there.
Checkpoint.
And... pass. Something that looked like a hummingbird just came up to my apartment window. And I know my apartment window is a lot higher than the trees outside, so or any flowers. Because, actually, my apartment does not have flower boxes. And I know, like, the person I was talking to, like, oh, if you want, we could put we used to have flower boxes, but we took them out, and, like, you know, we didn't put them back under the floor. I'm like, yeah, I'm okay, I don't need a flower box, because I know a lot of... the main reason I didn't want a flower box is because I knew I'd feel bad if, like, a bird came and built a nest there, and I'm like, okay, either I kick them out and it's terrible, or I let them stay and they sort of poop up my window over there. So it's really like, yeah, if there's no flower box, I don't have to worry about that problem. Yeah. And whoosh. Oh. We're about halfway through the course at this point. No. Yeah, I was considering for my future writing streams, I was thinking about if I wanted to maybe include the process of, you know, my language learning adventure on stream, but I'm like, I mean, compared to gameplay stuff, I mean, you could argue how much doing little memorization minigames online, how boring that would or would not be compared to Versus Pinball in terms of visual stimulation. And I don't have a problem. I know some people just do stuff on stream just to hold themselves accountable and make sure they actually make it part of their routine. I have not had a problem incorporating my language learning exercises into part of my daily routine. So there's not... that motivation really isn't a thing. Please let me get past. There we go. Yeah, I don't have any reason from that standpoint. Oh yeah, I could definitely feel the added difficulty of having all these new cars on the road. I just have to grab a sip of water. And once we pass a car, it kind of seems to load out of the game's memory. It's not like we see it again. Yeah, I was worried that there was like a physical drift developing on the right joystick. There's not. And I haven't used the Joy-Cons all that much, because throughout 2017, the year Switch came out, I used my system until December 2017, I used it for almost nearly the first year it was out. I used it exclusively as a handheld system. And then, I think it was early 2018, that's when I got my HD monitor, and I first started using it as a home system. And since then, my playstyle, my lifestyle, and playstyles have basically made me a home docked-only Switch player.
Checkpoint.
As opposed to the other options out there. You know, because I would not have gotten Switch at the time I did. When Switch came out, I did not own an HD TV in my house. I had a Wii U, but I only played it using the gamepad. I had no option to actually plug it into a TV or monitor of any kind. And the monitors I did get were basically only in preparation for eventually streaming. Because streaming was something I was building up from 2018 up until May 2020. Now, the pandemic coming along and me not being able to leave the house and go adventuring and needing stuff to do in the house has certainly helped push things along. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I think my language learning exercises are going to be kept offline. This is the third time I've attempted to learn a language, you could say. I remember in it was like in the 90s. I was in 6th grade, and I did attempt to learn Japanese. Mostly so I could play Japanese import video games. And I learned a little. I mean, this is so long ago that when I go to the library and say, hey, I want to learn Japanese, I was literally bringing home cassette tapes with Japanese phrases and stuff on them that came with books. Then I was looking a little later when I got my first computer with a modem, my Revision AI Mac. I was going on some of those early little old quaint single person running it Japanese learning websites. I didn't get too far. I learned enough to operate the menus a little later on when Pokemon Gold came out and I had the import version. But, okay, hold on, let me just STH. There we go. Yeah, STH is, I don't care about the disconnect. I don't mind. So let's try this again. We'll do one more game today. That'll bring us around to a solid 2 hours of streaming. Press start, I have to press X. There we go. And instead we're going to take the hard route. We're going to make all the left turns. There we go. Nice music. Again, I thought this would just be a perfect summer game. Nice, good summery atmosphere, the music, the visuals, the theme of just driving with the wind in your face and everything. I wasn't getting that language stuff. So yeah, I tried to learn a little Japanese, knew just enough to operate some of the menus, recognize some item names in Pokemon Gold without just memorizing them outright. I still never beat the Japanese version. I got stuck at one point eventually. It was like the Team Rocket raid on the by the Lake of Rage. I think I got stuck somewhere a little after there. I couldn't quite figure out where to go or what to do. And that's a game I do want to play on stream someday. Well, I have to cover Pokemon Red first. But what I will do is this is like the third language I've attempted to learn. I mean, the second language... Actually, no, excuse me. How could I forget? I forgot a language. No, the second language I learned was in Spanish just for public school to fill in my language requirement. I only took the first year of it. They ended up making me language exempt. And then in college, I only had to take one semester of language. It's not like I had to take it throughout my whole course of study while I was in college. So I took a single semester of American Sign Language. Now, I have to be clear, I think that first semester, there was much greater emphasis on learning about North American, well, United States deaf culture and, deaf society. as much as it was learning the language itself. And so it was definitely fascinating from that aspect. There was one point, I think my final exam was I had to translate a song or a story, and I chose Meet Me Tonight in Dreamland. I know Meet Me Tonight, that's as far as I went. As I got in that game, as far as I've memorized. For a few months after, almost a year after, I could sign the entire song. But, but I never continued pursuing it. I just needed my credit for completing my course of study in college. But it was definitely fascinating. And the next thing, and really I didn't attempt to learn a language again until the one I'm learning now, which I'm not going to say which language it is. I will tell you, it is not the major of a nationality or country, and it is not Klingon. I will tell you that right now. It is not Klingon. So, because I know if you're not familiar, Klingon does have a fully constructed language with grammar and syntax and everything that it is possible to actually learn and become fluent in. It is not Klingon. What is my phone doing? Okay. Oh. No, I got dragged to the right. I wanted it to go left. Doggone it. I got distracted a bit because... Let me look at this. I think... Okay, there we go. No.
Checkpoint.
Yeah, so we're not going to be able to finish the hardest possible route with these extra cars added. But this isn't so extreme. I think with the other tune-ups options that we have established, I think this will be a good sort of baseline difficulty. And eventually, as we get better and better, maybe we'll start turning off some of those tune-ups. And end up going from just being casual, just sort of playing it for fun, to actually being okay at the game. Yeah, you have the option to use the analog stick or the D-pad. There's no analog control to this game, so I'm really just having a much better time just using the D-pad to shift left and right. Well, I mean, to shift the car steering left and right, not to actually shift gears. As I have automatic on right now. And almost got forced to the right turn again. Alright, checkpoint soon, and then our final stage of the race.
Checkpoint.
Not the race. I guess it's a timed race, like the Iditarod? I don't know. But Yu Suzuki's like, remember, this is not a racing game, this is a driving game, so we want to respect the producer, director, whatever he was. We respect the creator's wishes on this one. I don't know why I said rishes. What's rishes? Wishes. I will pass you. Okay, we passed you. We passed you. I almost said we will. I came so close to saying we will rock you without even meaning to. Oh, and as I was saying, wish, that's wished with peanut butter in the middle. Yep, so this is the game. We just finished the nearly hardest mode. Congratulations! Oh, the car fell apart like something from Lowell and Hardy, but all right. Yeah, so we missed out on the two stages, the two hardest. Let's we'll punch in STH. We've rolled the tables on this high scoreboard. We'll do one more race and then we'll call it for today's stream. You've been disconnected from the ring. We don't care about this. This is just for the high score mode. There we go. Just make sure I'm not dropping any frames. Yeah, just one more go, and this time we'll make sure. Yeah, let's do Drivers Mega Mix Volume 1 for our music, because at the start you get to choose which music.
Get ready.
And just one more, and we'll call the stream there. Actually, I think I accidentally turned off an option there, because the card denotates which tune-up features you have on, and it's the first time I played with these set of features. They give me a green car. So you can't say what I do or don't have. But we're taking the left turns the whole way there, whenever there's that fork in the road, because the right turns are the easier ones, and the left turns are the harder ones. So we turned up the difficulty from what I started off as with. There's slightly fewer cars. Now there's slightly more cars. So we are now playing with at least one of our tune-up options, which are not featured in the original game. These are just sort of things to add options to play with for people playing the game, because now they made their purchase up front. They made their money off you up front, so there's no reason to try to milk you for quarters like the arcade game would have.
Checkpoint.
And extend for first checkpoint in our first time extension. Yeah, I could imagine if you might have epilepsy or similar conditions, those arches, the way they scroll, might be a bit of a hazard to you. But I'm not dealing with anything like that. But even so, like, I'm sure people who get motion sick in certain ways might get messed up playing this game. Now, for me, I could play this fine, but I can imagine there's some people who, if they were playing a game like this, they'd be fine. But if they were watching someone else play, it would make them sick. Like, something about their brain, like the ability to actually controlling the on-screen action helps orient their brain in a way that doesn't trigger the motion sickness. Because I know people who, growing up, who couldn't play, Game Boy or Game Gear in the back seat because they get motion sick or even read. I'm like, man, that would stink. And so many fond memories playing Game Boy, Game Boy and Game Boy Color. And before that, the original Game Gear. And Game Boy and Game Boy Color, you needed a worm light or have something cool like a Lincoln Continental that had. Growing up, my grandfather on my mom's side gave our family this big Lincoln Continental. It had an 8-track player in it that unfortunately did not work, but it was cool just having it in the car. But it was so floaty and big, like, to ride on it. It felt like you were riding in a boat. And the back seat had this perfect little reading light, because typically those lights would be so bright that they would distract the driver in front. But this had these nice soft reading lights, and my parents actually like, yeah, actually we could deal with this. So you could play your original model Game Boy in the back seat, and later on, I got the Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance original model GBA. I had the worm light for it, and it was pretty dope. I don't know to what extent. I know I did commission at least one piece of art for a Lunarian, not me. It's a different Lunarian character of mine, Taylor. She is playing an original model Game Boy in the dark. It's either original Game Boy or Game Boy Color in the dark, and her doorworm is holding a flashlight on the screen so she could play in the dark. And it's kind of like, I didn't think of this when I thought of worm light. It didn't influence the creation of doorworms, but it's kind of funny, the whole worm light pun. I think who made that worm light though? I think it was Nyko. Oh boy. Yeah, this desert stage we didn't get to see before, because this is one of the stages on the right hand side. I mean, we had to see instead because I got distracted by a wonderful text message that I will be sure to respond to momentarily as soon as I finish up the stream at the end of this race. Alright. And right between those two, Okay. You have less than a minute. We're nearly up to the final checkpoint. Our final time extension. Coming up. Got a right turn. I like there are the signs saying which way the turn is coming. Oh my goodness, right in front of the rock. We're right up on... We're coming so close to the next branching path and the next checkpoint. The final checkpoint. Oh my goodness. Yeah, can you tell this is the hardest, well, the second to hardest part of the game. Alright, now we've reached the branching path. The checkpoint and time extension isn't too far ahead.
Checkpoint.
Alright. So that lap took almost 90 seconds. If I wasn't doing all those crashes, I'm sure that it would be under 60 seconds. There you go. I don't know, there are a lot more cars here, but they feel a lot tamer. In terms of their placements. Oh gosh. Yeah, I know, fuss at me all you like. You're probably never going on a date with me again. But this girl probably doesn't even like the driver. He probably is just like, hey, that guy has a cool car, let's go for a ride. Yes, okay. Alright. Alright, I just thought of something cool for some creative endeavors. Recreational creative endeavors off stream. Yeah, okay. Let's see if we got a new high score.
Congratulations.
And they all go crazy, go nuts. They're throwing the driver up in the air. And uh-oh, here comes Titty Girl with their scantily clad clothing. Because it's an 80s game aimed at guys, so... And guys tend to be easily amused. Not quite so easily amused, but, okay, STH. Oops. No, I don't need to press start. I just need to let... Alright, so I think...